angels and devils and all who may wander through here. I'm Amanda Christina, and today I'm just going to have a bit of a ramble because it's Monday Musings. Sometimes life doesn't work out the way we think it's going to, and I think one of the best lessons I was given as a child and even as an adult, and that I carry with me even to this day, is that sometimes you just have to roll with life. You just have to go where it may lead. Case in point, I know I owe you a Matterhorn macaroons tutorial. I really do. I have had productive times interspersed with down times where I'm just struggling to do anything, which I had over the weekend, which for me means eating chocolate and reading romance novels and watching mushy movies and stuff just to, make me feel good, because I am a mushy gushy romantic at heart. So the Matterhorn macaroon tutorial will come, I promise. What I have to do is make sure I get the stuff. I have half the stuff, but make sure I do it when I have the stuff and not keep putting it off, because that is one of my biggest things that I do with cooking and things like that, is I put it off, and then what happens is I eat part of the ingredients or have a moment, and yeah. And that in the real world, that wouldn't matter. I'd just go, okay, I can just go and get some more, but I shop once a fortnight. So, there's another thing I have been meaning to talk to you about, and because depression and mental health is such a big thing, and this is not where I thought I was going today. I had a whole other scenario in my head of what I would talk about. Funny how that happens. Is ways to cope. My counselor is amazing, and one of the things that she says to me is whatever it takes, whatever helps you through, whatever makes sure that you will still be here tomorrow. I have told friends moment by moment, second by second, when they're in their worst moments with mental health issues, with depression, with anxiety, overwhelmed with what life is throwing at them. Let's face it, some people are really lucky that they do not have the never-ending crap storm that a lot of us face every day. And when you also have other issues, whether it be financial, whether it be your living arrangements, relationships, just, living alone, or not having as many people in your corner as you would like, or not having anyone in your corner, it makes it hard. And one of the things is we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and I'm very guilty of this. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, yes, everybody puts pressure on themselves, or no, I don't do that, because then I wouldn't be being honest with you, and I wouldn't feel right about that, to be honest. I am very bad at putting pressure on myself, especially because I do live alone. I do struggle not only with mental health issues, but with physical health issues. And so I don't always get to do as much housework as I need to get on top of things. I don't stay on top of housework. That's not a good answer right now for me. It drives me batty, but I still keep chipping away. In the times where I'm able to, I still keep chipping away. And that's something that I really did want to talk about, and to let you know that it's okay if you feel like you're failing, if you're not getting anywhere, because often we feel like that. Often we don't see the progress we're making. I look around me and I'm just like, oh, it's never going to end. And that's how, half my stuff's in storage, and I'm just like, there's so much I want back. Like, I want all my books back, and then I'm going to have to go through it and still, like, I culled before it went into storage. And I have more storage space here now than I did then, but I'm probably still going to end up having to cull more stuff. And it's one reason why I don't really try and bring too much into the house at the moment. Like, I haven't been buying lots of craft supplies. The little bits of eBay stuff all fit into small containers. Like, I have a container for jewelry, like for jewelry, for presents, and I have different containers for things. Like you'll see it. Like my shelves are filled with the Sistema stuff. With the actually, I'm not even sure why. Oh yes, I bought chipboard shapes over in case I wanted them. But you'll see a lot of this on my shelves because this is what I store my craft supplies in. Now, I have had them in tins and other things. The reason I have moved towards these is they are see-through. I see my stash. I know what I have. If I'm about to go and buy something, I can go and look through my stash and go, oh no, you've already got it. Or no, you've got enough of that, you don't need it. The other one for me is these, and I would dearly love some more of these, but Craft Online are not selling them anymore at the moment. So if anyone knows where to get them, let me know, because these Craftmates are my favourite containers for small embellishments and things. But that's not what we're talking about. But that, for me, that's part of the getting organised, is little steps. So I have been getting 11-litre plastic tubs, which I know my ribbon and some of my other stash will go into in the bottom two parts of each of my bookshelves, but I'm also keeping some for sorting. So I'm slowly getting there. And that's the thing, not everybody gets to go at a breakneck speed. My 20-year-old self would cringe at me now and laugh and go, no way did I end up in this position. Because she didn't stop. She barely slept, and she just always had something going on and was always busy and always doing stuff, whether it was reading or things like that. I can't even read the books I used to anymore because they upset me too much or they play too much havoc with my mental health at times. Yeah, so it's doing the things that help you get through. Finding those little crutches sometimes, you know, mindless little app games on your phone or movies or YouTube or whatever it is. Every single one of those little steps counts. When you struggle with mental illness, you're fighting for everything in every day. Any moment of happiness or any moment of just peacefulness where you can just switch off for a minute is absolutely a blessing. It is something you need to grab onto. Other people may not understand, and I think this is the problem, is that we live in a society that whilst mental health is something that is more and more at the forefront, it's still taboo to talk about. It's still something you don't say to someone, I'm not okay today. I will not, unless I'm in my very worst moments, I do not say I'm not okay. I just say I'm muddling through. I don't say fine anymore. My sister and I had a really big discussion on what fine actually means when someone says they're fine. I'm fine. It's a bit like calling someone nice or cute. It's a very generic thing. I'm fine could be, yeah, I am fine. Life's good. It could be, I'm fine. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not okay, but I don't want to talk about it. So I've taken to saying I'm muddling through. And I muddle through the best I can. It's not always easy. And I challenge myself sometimes. I forget to do it a lot, which is, especially when I'm in a productive place, is to write on my Facebook my accomplishments of the day. And I will sit there and I'll list everything, even if it's just taking out some rubbish to the rubbish bin. It's still an accomplishment. It's still something I did that day. It's still working towards where I want to be. At the moment, I am working towards my room getting done. It's slow and it may not be done in time. I've got about a week left to get everything sorted as much as possible so that yeah, we can rearrange it to have a shooting area. I have this gorgeous, well, not gorgeous, it's a fairly plain standard bookshelf, but I have plans for the bookshelf. And things like that. So I want to be able to do the projects I want to do. It also means that I can take one of the bookshelves that's out here that doesn't quite match with the other two into my room, so I can have somewhere to stick craft supplies in there that I'm actually using in my room rather than just piled all beside my bed. It also will mean that I can if I have a shooting space, it means I can start doing my series on sorting through the tubs of craft supplies that need to be sorted here. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, about 10 big plastic tubs of things I need to sort through and rehome, and the easiest way for me to do that is to break it down. So that's another thing. If you're overwhelmed by the things you've got to do, or if there's something you really want to do and you're overwhelmed by it, break it down. Break it down into the teeniest, tiniest steps. And then just do one step. Even if you think you can't, just one tiny step that moves you forward or that moves you at all can be such a huge thing. And I know when you're struggling with mental health, when you're struggling with invisible illness, that one tiny step feels like Mount Everest. It feels like something that you just can't. And on my worst days, usually I try and take one step. Some days it doesn't help. Some days I just can't. Other days, taking that step leads to another step, and another step, and another step. And step by step, ooh baby, you're gonna get the job done. You know, there is that thing of especially when you've got, especially with mental health, especially with depression, bipolar 2, bipolar, anxiety, social anxiety, borderline personality disorder, all the gamut of mental health things, is that we are harder on ourselves than most people are. We take things very personally, and I'm guilty of this. Like, I will do something and I'll take it personally. I'll, like, just me. Or someone will say something and it will hit me deeper than they intended. That happens a lot with my mum. She tries to joke about things, or she'll bring things up thinking that it's just funny or that it's not serious, and it's like, you can't do that. That doesn't help me. That just makes me feel worse about something I cannot change. Yeah, there's a lot of things, and I think the thing to remember is that people don't walk in our shoes. Unless you have a mental illness, you don't have a clue that it's literally like walking along in the darkness, that with no help, and with a whole lot of rocks and, you know, debris strewn through your path. And then there's the days where you're in brain fog, where you're trying to row a boat through this rocky, tumultuous sea, and there's nothing for thousands and thousands of kilometers around you but a really thick fog, and you're trying to pull your thoughts through that. It's not easy. It's not an easy path. It's not something I would wish upon my worst enemy, to be honest. But you can help yourself through it. Put coping mechanisms in place. Put things in place that work for you. Everybody is different. Every single person is different in how they deal with this. Some people I know lose themselves in music and musicals, or binge watch a show. Some people craft. I craft, but not always. Sometimes I like, case in point, this weekend, like, I spent a couple of days last week pushing to get a couple of things done. Just a few things, just washing. Washing for me isn't like it is for most people. I have to stand there and hold the hose thing to fill up my machine, do the washing, empty it, fill it up again with the fabric softener. It's like a little twin tub thing, but just the way my bathroom is set up, I don't just get to turn on a tap and walk away, or do, like, you know, I don't have a machine where I can. And I did look into that, but I didn't have the right stuff at the time to do a proper washing machine. I'd love to have a proper washing machine and have it hooked up in my bathroom. It would make my life so much simpler, especially if it was big enough to do a good load of clothes, because that way I wouldn't have to do a zillion loads just to get some stuff washed. But, you know, that's been my thing. I let it go for a day or two, but now I'm back to it. trying to get at least a load of washing a day just to catch up. Once everything's done and put away, then I can go back to, okay, I only need to do a couple of loads a week. That's okay, I can handle that. And that's my aim, is to have everything done here in a way that means I don't have to do everything the hard way or the really long way. I cut corners a lot sometimes with cooking. Like, there are times where I'll just live off like a bacon sandwich or freezer food, things that I've made and frozen. There are times where I'll just do the simple thing or eat toast. At the moment, I've been eating lots of carrots and hummus because I made hummus and I've got jars and jars of it in the freezer. So that's something simple I can eat. It's healthy. It's not as bad as eating bread all the time and stuff. I just do what I can. I'll have cooking days. I'll have times where I don't want to cook. I'll have times where I don't want to eat, and that's all part of my mental illness. I have times where I can't stop eating. Again, parts of my mental illness that I'm slowly learning to deal with. I have to force myself to eat some days. I forget. I try and do 3 meals. I'm not very good at it. I forget to eat 3 meals a day. I just don't feel like 3 meals a day. So that's something I struggle with, that I try and make sure I have more stuff in place to do, and it is sort of an eternal struggle and something I'm chipping away at. Yeah, so it's important to chip away. It's important to keep taking that teeny tiny step. A baby learns to crawl before they learn to walk, and they take a lot of tumbling steps before they even really get the hang of walking or anything. So it's okay to stumble. It's okay to fall down. You need to pick yourself up and you need to keep moving. You need to keep just the small steps. Every small step adds up. I've told so many people that over the years, and it is something I'm a strong believer in. It is something that works for me. Music works for me. Watching stuff, it really depends on my mood. I'm sometimes just reading a book I love or reading a story. I'm really invested. It's kind of stupid, and well, it's not stupid. That's a really judgmental thing to say, because lots of people love romance books. They wouldn't write so many, but I'm really suckered into the Royals of Montera series of books that are on Amazon, and that just seem to keep getting more and more books. I never seem to catch up. But that's sort of been a good thing for me, just to have something sort of lighter to read. I've been watching lots of Hallmark movies, especially mushy Christmas ones. Make no apologies, I'm a mushy gushy girl. I'm just as happy watching an action flick if I'm in the mood. It just depends on my mood, and my mood has been mushy and gushy. I binge watched over about 3 or 4 days. I think it was like 2 or 3 days. 3 days, I think it was, yeah. The Magicians, which if you haven't seen, I highly recommend. Fantastic series. If you're squeamish like me, there are going to be bits you need to close your eyes in or look away. Lucky for me, I multitask, so I know to just toggle my screen. Sorry, you have to forgive me, I'm all yawny today. So look, here's the breakdown. Take it step by step. Do things that help you get through each moment. Some days it's second by second. Some days it's moment by moment or minute by minute. Some days it's hour by hour. Sometimes it's just day by day. Whatever you need to focus on to help you get through, to help you get to the next day. Getting help is essential. I can't skirt around that. If you have mental health issues, I know someone who won't get help because she doesn't think it will help her, because she's like, I don't need a traditional counsellor, not realising that counselling has moved on from what old school traditional counselling is, and it takes a much more zen approach now. Cognitive behaviour therapy, ACT therapy are both amazing. I've had both, and both work and give you tools to help. Excuse me. And I did not mean to make such a long video. Just taking things step by step, breaking them down into their smallest components. If you can, have a look for a blog called The Spoon Theory. to do with invisible illness, because that is a really good way to explain it to family and friends who do not understand. I will make sure to post a link to that below because it is vital. It is something that has helped me explain what I deal with on a daily basis to people who are clueless and have no idea of just what it entails sometimes to get out of bed. So I have rambled on for 20 minutes. I'm going to stop there. As you can tell, it's something I'm really passionate about. I think it's really, really important. I think all too often we're sort of told to snap out of it, or people don't know what to say. And I think that sometimes knowing that you can take a step, just a teeny tiny step, makes such a huge difference. And it can just be that thing that breaks through the wall in the worst times. So I love each and every one of you. You know this. I genuinely do. I care. If you ever want to talk to me, message me on my Facebook page or here or one of my other social media accounts. If you are feeling down or you're scared you're going to do something, please, please use one of the free service numbers that are around in every country. In Australia, it's Lifeline. I'm not sure about other countries. It's a free call. It is so vital that you reach out when you really need to. Get help if you can. I know not everyone can afford to. I know the free services can be hard to get into. In Australia, talk to your doctor because we are entitled to 6 free counselling sessions a year, which can be bumped up to 10 or more if needed. So it is really important you take advantage of that. Don't be afraid to let yourself just do whatever it takes, like what it takes to get through. Sometimes for me that can be, if I get angry, sometimes it's baking therapy, sometimes it's crafting. You know, there's so many different ways to help yourself through. So find ways that work for you, that help you cope, that are non-destructive. That would be the big one, that are non-destructive, that I should have said all the way through this video because I doubt anyone will make it to the end. If you have, thank you. If you have made it to the end and you suffer with a mental health problem, can you please let me know below what things you do to help you through in your worst times, or in the times that you're struggling and that you kind of don't see your way through that darkness. Because because I like to know, and also because I'm always looking for new ways to help me through, because I'm bipolar too. I chop and change all the time. If you're new here, thank you for sticking with this video. I know it's been a bit of a rambly, yeah, a bit of a ramble through a whole lot of sort of different mental health topics. If you're new here, click the subscribe button. We would love to have you. I would love to have you become one of my angels or devils. It would mean the world to me. It really would. And if you've enjoyed this video and would like me to talk more about mental health and maybe ways I cope, or things that I do, or what my journey has been like, please click that like button and leave a comment below. I'll talk to you all very soon. I love you all. Bye.